The Adventures of Rad Gravity is one of those games I had no idea existed until several people wrote in to suggest it. I don't even really remember reading about this game in Nintendo Power or anything like that. Rad Gravity is certainly not a perfect game and won't be on any top 10 lists, but it's definitely worth trying out if you just want something different on the NES. First off, everything about the story, artwork, and presentation here is just bonkers. So you play as Rad Gravity, this zany-looking superhero with a comically oversized head, a cheeky smile, and enough hair gel to make Pat Riley jealous. I love the cartoony artwork on the box as well as within the game itself. The manual has a comic book baked into it which sets the tale for the story. So basically this evil wizard Agathos rose up, drank some irradiated vodka, and mutated into a giant brain for some reason. Then he shut down the computer networks that these three compuminds are all hardwired to. These compuminds are, I'm not sure what they're supposed to be. AI, or were they originally real people that had their brains downloaded into a computer? I don't know, but there were three of them and now they're all cut off from each other because Agathos shut down the network. So you're tasked with finding the other compuminds and destroying Agathos. Gameplay is side-scrolling and platforming, but this game is non-linear. The goal here is to track down the other compuminds, but you only have one set of teleport coordinates due to the network failure, so you can travel to all 9 planets in this system, but you can only teleport down to the ones where you have the coordinates. Also, take a minute to appreciate the way you move between levels. This could have just been a simple stage select screen a la Mega Man, but instead you're totally just walking around inside your own spaceship. It reminds me of the ship from Flight of the Navigator. You can't really do much in here except walk around between the captain's chair and the transporter controls, but the graphic design and oversized sprites are just really cool. And there's an awesome warp sequence when you move from one planet to the next. Once you teleport down to the planet's surface using the set of coordinates that you have, you basically just have to look around looking for clues until you find more coordinates and/or complete some sort of task. You might have to take out the security controls so that you can hack into the computers to find more teleport coordinates, which at one point entails actually being shrunken down into a computer. What, you didn't know that's what the inside of your PC looks like? Enemies are all over the place. Again, this is just nuts. Killer robots, dinosaurs, lava monsters, murderous Roombas, shirtless Hagrid floating around in a portable spa. You start off with what the manual calls a laser sword. I guess it's a lightsaber. It's not as cool as it sounds. The range is so short on this thing. Thankfully, you do find a laser pretty early on, so that opens things up a bit. And there's other stuff you can find too, such as bombs or this little teleportation device. And you can find more energy tanks along the way, similar to Metroid. There's a wide variety of planets too. This looks like something out of Adventure Island. There's a volcano planet, there's even an upside down world. There's also some other different little, side quests or things that happen along the way. At one point your ship gets towed away and your compumind is stolen by Weird Al. There's this planet where you talk to folks and find out a bunch of killer robots have taken over and they need your help. So yeah, this game is just kinda all over the place and you're free to roam around wherever once you start finding more teleport coordinates. It's pretty cool just tooling around in your own spaceship, and this wasn't something you really seen much on the NES. Unfortunately, Rad Gravity does have some issues. For starters, several of the levels commit that sin of not being able to tell which platforms you can actually walk on versus ones that are just in the background. Can I step here or here or here? Who knows? And this comprises a lot of the game, so that can be annoying. On top of that, when you get hit, you not only get knocked back quite a ways, you also get knocked through whatever platform you're standing on, so that's frustrating. When you play Rad Gravity, you're in for dozens of cheap deaths, so consider yourself warned. However, you do have unlimited continues as well as a password system, so that at least makes up for it. Also, the game has a unique feature to where if you use your communicator at any time on the planet's surface, you can just beam back up to the ship and top off your energy. So if you're getting beat up pretty bad, you've got an escape hatch. Unfortunately, when you beam back down, you'll start the level back at the beginning, but you may also find extra teleport coordinates throughout the level that act as checkpoints, so that's handy. In fact, anytime you find one of these, you may just want to beam back up to the ship and top off, then beam back down to the checkpoint. So, can I recommend playing Rad Gravity today? Well, sure. Like I said, it definitely has some issues, but if you can get past those, I think there's a really fun playthrough here. Even though you will die a lot, the continue screen loads fast, so you can get right back into the action with minimal button pushes. The music is what I would call serviceable. Not necessarily any memorable tracks here, but nothing awful either. Rad Gravity is strangely addictive though in its own bizarre way, and I just really like the graphic style and art design, especially when you're in your ship. I also like that not every solution to a problem in this game is straightforward. You can't always just blast your way through a situation, so you may have to stop and think a little to figure out how to progress, and I just really enjoy games like that. Well, what did you think? Did you play Rad Gravity growing up, or discover it more recently? What are some other off-the-beaten-path games from the 8-bit era that you'd like to see covered here on the channel? As always, thank you for watching. Please don't text and drive, and I'll see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.